сердечно поприветствовать министра иностранных дел Кении, господина Мудавади, который находится здесь, в Москве, с официальным визитом. Провел вчера серию встреч, в том числе встречу очень важную, интересную, продуктивную с министром иностранных дел Лавровым, о чем сейчас господин министр нам рассказал. Для нас этот визит сегодняшний очень важен, поскольку, как вы хорошо знаете, последние годы мы серьезно активизировали наши связи с африканскими странами. И я имею в виду Россию. Но в этом контексте очень серьезное и большое внимание мы уделяем связи с африканскими странами, с африканскими университетами. Здесь, в ГИМО. И я с огромным удовольствием приветствую послов африканских стран, которые нашли сегодня время и возможность прибыть на эту встречу с уважаемым министром. Это еще один знак того, что и наши коллеги из посольства африканских стран проявляют большой интерес к нашему университету. Я только что рассказывал министру о том, что у нас сегодня учится уже большая группа ребят из африканских стран, из 9 африканских стран. И мы рассчитываем на то, что присутствие студентов с континента будет каждый год расти. Во всяком случае, уже в этом году мы планируем принять на первый курс большую группу ребят из Африки. И мне кажется, что это очень знаменательно, поскольку традиционно, исторически, как вы знаете, Советский Союз, Российская Федерация уделяли большое значение африканским странам. Практически Советский Союз был первым государством, который признавал независимость африканских стран в начале 60-х годов. Кения стала независимым государством в 1963 году, и Советский Союз был одним из первых, кто установил с Кенией дипломатические отношения. Вообще Кения всегда играла в нашей политике на африканском континенте очень большую роль. Ну, и Кения, во-первых, одна из крупных стран, 53 миллиона проживает в этой стране. Мы начали преподавать язык суахили в 1969 году в нашем университете. Очень многие выпускники, которые окончили с этим языком, работали в разных африканских странах, прежде всего в Кении, в Танзании, но не только. Вы знаете, что язык суахили распространен в Африке, используется во многих африканских странах. Но Кения, как известно, это страна, которая динамично развивает свои внешние связи. Кения – страна, где находится и структура Организации Объединенных Наций, поэтому немало наших выпускников работали в ООН, в Кении, в структурах ООН. И в целом, вы знаете, что популярность Кении достаточно велика сегодня и в силу интереса, туристического интереса к этой стране, и поток туристов ежегодно растет в Кении. Но я не буду говорить о том, что у нас много очень схожего в политических подходах, внешнеполитических подходах. Об этом, конечно, лучше и ярче скажет наш гость, министр иностранных дел, господин Мудавади. И хотел бы, завершая свою вступительную реплику, сказать, что мы от имени всех, кто сегодня присутствует в зале, еще раз вас сердечно приветствуем. Надеемся, что после вашего визита наши отношения с кенийскими университетами, с дипломатической школой, то, что мы с вами сейчас обсуждали, станут гораздо более интенсивными. А в этом году мы уже ждем 6 новых студентов на разные факультеты из Кении, которые будут учиться и на подготовительном факультете, и на наших основных программах. А сейчас с удовольствием представляю слово господину Мудавади. The floor is yours. up to you. Okay. Professor Anatoly Tukunov, Rector of the Moscow State Institute of International Relations, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the management and the faculty of the university, dear students, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Before I make my remarks, let me just say that today I'm joined by Kenya's ambassador, Ambassador Mathuki. And in the Kenyan delegation, we also have 3 legislators. I have the Honorable Nelson Koech. He's the chair of the Departmental Committee of Parliament that deals with matters of foreign engagement, matters of intelligence, and matters of defense. Next to him is Honorable Haika. She's also a member of Parliament and chair of the committee that deals with the diaspora and matters of migration. Next is the Honorable Julius Sunkuli. He's a lawyer and he's also a member of Parliament. And the rest of the Kenyan delegation, if you can just wave where you are, that came in from Nairobi. So before I make my remarks, let me acknowledge that we are very happy to be here. A strong Kenyan contingent because our partnership with this great nation has endured for a long time, as you've heard the rector mention, since independence. And our desire and our objective is to consolidate that partnership going forward. And yesterday, I was honored with our team to have a very constructive dialogue with the Minister for Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Sergei Lavrov, and we talked on a number of issues, both bilateral and also those that relate to Africa and other global arenas. So today, I'm delighted to share some moments and some thoughts with you, and hopefully, at the end of the day, we shall be able to go away feeling enriched somehow in our individual ways. So let me speak to a bit of our issues today. Moscow and Nairobi are separated by thousands of kilometers, yet diplomacy has a way of collapsing distance. It is therefore through the power of diplomacy that I am here today at the prestigious Moscow State Institute of International Relations to speak on the relations between Kenya and the Russian Federation. Let me express my gratitude for the honor and privilege to address this top-ranked university, which is not only one of Russia's most prestigious universities, but also a global citadel of academic excellence and a highly influential public policy think tank. I congratulate the rector for his leadership, the faculty, and the university community for maintaining such high standards. Ranking among the premier international relations universities, this institute has continued to produce leading diplomats in Russia and across the world. I also commend the university for offering scholarships and fellowships to a growing number of African students, including Kenyans,
who form part of the hundreds of our citizens studying across Russian universities. As such, the Moscow State Institute of International Relations continues to play an important role in Russia-Africa educational relations, including development of knowledge and the skills in Kenya spanning more than 60 years. The long history of Kenya and Russia bilateral relations is marked by notable milestones, including Russia's prompt recognition of Kenya's sovereignty in 1963. We all recall with pride that on Kenya's Independence Day, 12th December 1963, the Soviet leader, His Excellency Nikita Khrushchev, sent a telegram to Kenya's first president, His Excellency Jomo Kenyatta, stating as follows, and I quote, "The Soviet government solemnly declares its recognition of Kenya as an independent and sovereign state and expresses its readiness to establish diplomatic relations with Kenya and to exchange diplomatic missions at the ambassadorial level." End of quote. From these formative years, cooperation with the Soviet Union in technical assistance, professional training, and educational exchange developed steadily and yielded benefits for Kenya's institutional development. These include the building of Kenya's health system, engineering capacity, and public service. In fact, I don't know if you look at that, it's deliberate. This is the then leader meeting Kenya's vice president at that time, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, whose sons eventually came to study here. And one of the sons is today still in parliament as a senator and the chair of one of the leading parties in Kenya. His other previous son, who also had a stint here, passed away, but he became Kenya's prime minister. So this is down the memory lane, just to show that there was a strong bond from way back. Kenya and Russia have prioritized diplomatic engagements anchored on mutual respect, non-interference, and cooperation in development rather than ideological considerations. Even during the post-World War II global order, Kenya pursued a non-aligned foreign policy, maintaining relations with both Eastern and Western blocs on the basis of pragmatism, principle, and pursuit of its national interests. Notably, our two governments continue to engage through the high-level exchanges and consultations on matters of shared interest in international fora. Kenya recognizes the important role and responsibility of the Russian Federation as a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. In terms of international peace and security, counterterrorism, and the management of transnational threats, including maritime piracy and organized crime, Russia's global engagement is of direct relevance to the interests of Africa. We value the partnership in these areas, guided always by our common desire for global peace and shared prosperity. Ladies and gentlemen, the international community is experiencing one of its most turbulent phases. Active conflicts are claiming civilian lives, and the trust that once supported collective security is waning. Kenya is deeply concerned, aware that a stable multilateral order is the key to security for nations such as ours. It is in this spirit that we make a sincere appeal to the Russian Federation, alongside other permanent members of the Security Council, to draw upon their considerable diplomatic heritage, good offices, and global influence to help restore stability in international affairs. Kenya also supports the reform of multilateral institutions, including the United Nations, to make them more representative of the world as it exists today. We look to partners such as the Russian Federation to engage constructively in those reform processes, particularly as they relate to Africa's voice and representation in the global governance architecture. Of all the dimensions of the Kenya-Russia relationship, it is perhaps the sustained investment in human capital that best illustrates the depth and durability of our partnership. Since independence, more than 3,000 Kenyan citizens have pursued higher education in the former Soviet Union and the Russian Federation, specializing in medicine, engineering, information technology, nuclear science, and other technical disciplines. With this education, the professionals have returned to serve Kenya in various sectors. The government of the Russian Federation has maintained scholarship programs for Kenyan students, and I sincerely appreciate the increase of the annual scholarship allocation from 60 to 70 awards in 2025. In our conversation yesterday, we are looking forward to an even bigger allocation. It is worth noting that as of 2025, 300 Kenyan students are enrolled in Russian universities, continuing a tradition of academic exchange that spans more than 6 decades. On behalf of the government and the people of Kenya, I convey our gratitude for this commitment. Indeed, education is a solid pillar of our diplomatic partnerships. To this end, I acknowledge that the Foreign Service Academy of the Republic of Kenya, which is responsible for the training and professional development of our foreign service officers, can benefit from partnerships with the Moscow State Institute of International Relations. We therefore propose the following areas of consideration by Moscow State Institute of International Relations and look forward to further discussions in this regard. 1, the participation of serving Kenyan diplomats in professional development programs at this institute, collaboration between the faculties of the university and the Foreign Service Academy to enrich training curricula, research cooperation on matters of mutual interest, including sharing strategies for entrenching public policy, think tank approaches, consideration of promoting Kiswahili in your institution as one of the foreign languages offered. And I understand this is already underway. 5th, establishing exchange programs with the Council of Young Diplomats of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Russia to strengthen professional interaction and cooperation among young diplomats. Additionally, Kenya appreciates the government of the Russian Federation for establishing the African Center for the Study of Russia, which was launched at the University of Nairobi last month, becoming one of the few centers on the African continent. The center offers Kenyan students an opportunity to study and appreciate Russia's cultural, intellectual, and diplomatic contributions to global civilization. Furthermore, Kenya and Russia maintain productive trade relations. Kenya's principal exports to Russia include horticultural products, tea, coffee, and nuts, among other agricultural products. Russia, in turn, exports fertilizers, industrial machinery, and other inputs to support Kenya's manufacturing and agricultural centers. Still, there is immense potential for the two countries to scale up the overall volume of bilateral trade. There is need for deliberate policy attention to existing trade obstacles, such as logistical constraints, limited bilateral market information, and financing structures that do not yet adequately support the Kenya-Russia trade. Kenya invites Russian investors to explore opportunities, particularly in priority sectors of infrastructure, renewable energy, manufacturing, and information and communications technology. Kenya is a continental leader in the green or clean energy transition, generating over 90% of its electricity from renewable sources. This is driven by geothermal, hydro, wind, and solar sources. Kenya has established foundational infrastructure as well as legal and regulatory frameworks for the development of nuclear energy. We look forward to international partnerships, including drawing on Russia's expertise in this field. Besides Kenya's robust domestic market, the country is strategically positioned as the gateway to East and Central Africa, providing access to a market of over 300 million people in East African community, whose consolidated GDP stands at close to $300 billion US. At the continental level, the African Continental Free Trade Area creates a single market of an estimated 1.5 billion people. Our two countries also engage through the Russia-Africa Partnership Forum, which provides a platform for high-level dialogue on regional and global issues of mutual interest. Such Africa summits and partnerships are important at this moment when Africa seeks to unlock the value of its immense potential in critical minerals, natural resources, and youthful population to industrialize and achieve tangible development. The traditionally friendly Russia-Africa relations continue to expand opportunities for many African countries, including Kenya. We recall with appreciation of the former Soviet Union's steadfast support for Africa's quest for independence. This contribution remains a lasting heritage of solidarity for the peoples of the African continent. At independence, Kenya, like most newly liberated African countries, faced the triple challenges of poverty, disease, and ignorance. These remain priority areas in which Africa-Russia partnerships have historically focused their cooperation. Today, Africa continues to engage partners like Russia as the continent shifts from aid to trade and investment. To conclude, the relationship between Kenya and the Russian Federation presents a significant opportunity at this moment. The historical ties are well established. The goodwill is sincere. The mutual reciprocity in trade, education, and technical cooperation is evident. What is now needed is a focused effort to transform this potential into tangible results that benefit the citizens of both nations. Kenya is dedicated to this endeavor. I thank you most sincerely for the honor of this platform. Asante sana, spasibo bolshoi.
Thank you very, very much, Minister Mudavadi. And now, friends, we have time for Q&A question. Not much time, but we do have some time. So please, questions from the audience. Okay, let's start. Please.
Mheshimiwa Waziri, jina langu ni Varvara. Ninajifunza Kiswahili na uhusiano ya kimataifa katika chuo kikuu hiki. Je, ninataka kujua kuhusu nafasi gani zipo Kenya kwa wanafunzi kama mimi ambazo zinatusaidia kujua juu ya Kenya на utamaduni wa Kenya.
Теперь коротко на русском скажи, поскольку это никто не перевел, ни на английский, ни на русский. Пожалуйста.
Меня зовут Варвара. Я студентка факультета международных отношений. Я изучаю суахили и специализируюсь на Восточной Африке. Мне бы было очень интересно узнать, есть ли какие-то возможности для таких студентов, как я, которые хотят изучать суахили и узнать побольше о культуре Кении. Спасибо большое.
Yes, a few questions. Okay, let's get one more question, two more questions, and then.
Jina langu ni Anna, ninajifunza Kiswahili katika chuo kikuu hiki pia na ninasoma uhusiano wa kimataifa na hasa Afrika Mashariki. Ninataka kujua juu ya wanawake katika Kenya. Harakati ya wanawake inaendelea na wanawake wengi hupata nyadhifa za juu. Je, unataka kuwapa wanafunzi wa kike shauri juu ya kazi yake katika uhusiano wa kimataifa au siasa? Asante sana. Могу перевести вопрос также на русский.
А по-русски?
Да. Меня зовут Анна, я студентка второго курса факультета международных отношений. В МГИМО изучаю суахили и тоже специализируюсь на Восточной Африке. Хотела бы задать вопрос о роли женщин в Кении. Сейчас они занимают высокие посты, многие должности. Вот какой совет вы могли бы дать молодым студенткам, которые хотели бы построить свою карьеру в сфере международных отношений или политики? Спасибо большое.
И занять высокие посты, как и в Кении. You see, almost everybody in this audience speaks Swahili. Okay, one more question, and then we'll ask the minister to answer.
Your Excellency, my name is Vlada Serikova, and I want to ask you about some about the traveling. So, are there any plans for Russian tourists from Kenya for for making visas easier, or maybe about some direct flights or something like this? Thank you for your attention.
You may answer from here.
Thank you. First of all, let me acknowledge the Kiswahili is excellent. And to also mention that when I looked here, I had seen the members of parliament sitting here. There is another one who was sitting on this other side, the Honorable Fabian Mudli. He's the vice chair of the Labour Committee. Thank you. Mr. Rector, I want to do something with your permission. Before I speak to the issues on the visa and other matters, I need the help of a lady. And I want to request Madam Haika. She's a lady. And a legislator. I think she'll respond very well to this question about ladies and the role of ladies in Africa.
Welcome. She'll speak from the podium.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Kwa majina yangu vile mmeambiwa naitwa Haika Mizigi. Mimi ni mjumbe, member of parliament, na ninasimamia mambo ya diaspora Pongezi kwa nyinyi nyote ambao mnasoma hapa na wale wanasoma Kiswahili wanazungumza vizuri. Na kwa swali ambalo limeulizwa kuhusu nafasi ambazo Kenya wanatayarisha kwa ajili ya wanawake ni Oh, no translation. Okay. I'll do both. I'll do both so that she can be well answered and everyone else can understand. So kwa Kiswahili nataka kusema ya kwamba hakuna nafasi ambayo kiongozi wa kike hawezi kupata kwa nchi ya Kenya. Nafasi zote ambazo ni za kazi, kiongozi ama bora tu umesomea unaruhusiwa kupata. Iwe ni daktari, ni injinia, ni mambo ya kidiplomasia, kazi zote unaweza kufanya. Kwa hivyo kina mama hawajazuiliwa kufanya kazi yoyote. And in English I'm saying in Kenya, women or ladies are allowed to do any kind of job. I mean, so long as you are ready for it, you are prepared for it, and you're good at it, there's no limit. You can be anything you want to be in Kenya as a lady. You can be a leader, you can be a doctor, you can be an engineer, a diplomat, depending on what you're able to do. Thank you.
Thank you. The rights of women are guaranteed in our Constitution. It's very clear that we must meet certain quotas in accordance with our Constitution. So that one is covered. And it may please you to know that right now, for instance, Kenya's Chief Justice is a lady. We have had a situation where a few years ago, the head of Kenya's Air Force, the military, the head of the Kenyan Air Force was a lady. So we have broken the barriers, so to speak, in terms of the opportunity that ladies can serve in our country. And we continue to make sure that we work hand in hand. I also just want to say that one of the reasons why we are here is to also encourage that exchange, so that exchange programs between students or professionals or academia from Russia can have interaction with counterparts in Kenya. This is one of the things that we wish to promote. So I want to assure you that we look forward to seeing you in Nairobi soon as you engage with fellow students and professionals. On the issue of the visa and the issue of movement, we are working very, very closely to make sure that this is made much faster. In certain instances within the continent of Africa, we say that historically we are lifting, or we have lifted the whole aspect of rigid visa requirements so that you can do it online to be able to facilitate faster processing of your desire to travel to Kenya. So this, and if there are still any hitches, our ambassador is here, we'll be happy to know so that we can refine that process to allow free movement of people. The issue of direct flights, it's a conversation we engaged with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs here, and we shall be extending this conversation to look at the possibility of direct flights. In the past, we used to have a direct flight for the Russian national airline at that time, Aeroflot, flying into Nairobi, but that stopped over time. And I believe it was more maybe for economic or commercial considerations than anything else. And we do hope that if we grow our trade and our travels, we can definitely justify, also from an economic viewpoint, to have more flights coming directly. And that's why I talked about the need to grow our trade numbers, which are fairly modest at this point in time. We have received in the last year 9,000 tourists from this country coming into Kenya. So we could have more, and we'd like to have more coming to visit. And this will eventually justify the restoration of direct flights from here to Nairobi. Thank you.
Здравствуйте, господин министр. Здравствуйте, Анатолий Васильевич. Меня зовут Мазин Иван. Я студент первого курса Международно-правового факультета МГИМО.
Поэтому не говорите суахили.
Да, суахили на нашем факультете не преподают, по крайней мере, пока что. Для начала я хотел бы вас поблагодарить за эту замечательную встречу, за возможность на ней присутствовать. Это очень важно для нас всех, как для будущих специалистов в области международных отношений. Спасибо вам большое. Следующий вопрос у меня имеется. Сейчас очень много говорят о реформе Совета Безопасности ООН, что она должна быть, и в частности о том, что Африке следует предоставить в нем постоянное место. Кения, пожалуй, можно сказать об этом с уверенностью, один из наиболее вероятных претендентов на него. Скажите мне, пожалуйста, если бы у Кении появилось постоянное место в Совете Безопасности, какие подходы, изменения к подходам существующим миропорядке вы бы продвигали, чтобы активнее отстаивать интересы Африки, отстаивать интересы Кении и поддерживать мир во всем мире? Спасибо.
Shikamo, jina langu ni Sonia, mimi ni mwanafunzi wa mwaka wa pili wa uhusiano ya kimataifa, na swali langu ni hii: hamu ya kujifunza Kiswahili inaongezeka katika Kenya sasa. Je, kuna watu wowote wanaopenda kujifunza Kirusi? Na labda Urusi, na labda msaada wa Urusi unahitajika katika kufungua kituo cha utamaduni wa Urusi au kozi? Сейчас растет интерес в изучении суахили в России. Есть ли люди, заинтересованные в Кении в изучении русского языка? И нужна ли помощь России в открытии разных курсов русского языка или в русском доме?
Habari za asubuhi. My name is Yasir Saadu. I am a graduate of Egerton University in Joro and currently master student in MGIMO, Political Economy of Russia-ASEAN Strategic Partnership. You mentioned about the need of increasing trade balance between Russia and Kenya. Is Kenya considering joining or starting free trade agreement with the Eurasian Economic Commission, like for example in the same framework as Iran and Vietnam, and for Singapore, which has not yet been ratified? And another question is, Kenya's recent politics has been criticized for being mostly non-ideological. For example, just shifting alliances currently between the Kenya Kwanza and Azimio la Umoja. Do you see the need for some certain level of ideological transformation in Kenyan politics, whereby there is clear ideological divides for more democratic accountability? Thank you.
questions on every speak? Okay. Let me deal with those things.
My name is Ruslan, and I'm a second-year student of the School for International Relations. At MGIMO, I'm studying the Amharic language, which has sparked my deep interest in Ethiopia, and I would like to ask, how would you assess the current state of Kenya-Ethiopia relations? What prospects do you see for further partnership between the two countries, and what spheres are the most prospective? Thank you.
Let me deal with that one. Okay. Let me start with the UN Security Council and its composition. Under the African Union, we have the Committee of 10. That is 10 countries on behalf of the African Union who have been focused on pursuing this specific agenda of reforming the UN and more so reforming the UN Security Council. And there are certain resolutions that were passed, one in Set and another in Nzowili. And we are categorical that a continent of 55 countries, 54 countries, plus a population of 1.5 billion people, since 1948, when the UN bodies were put together, it is grossly unfair that such a continent does not have representation in the Security Council. And therefore, we have a resolution that we need, and we are canvassing for 2 seats, permanent seats on the Security Council, and I think 3 as non-permanent members within the Security Council to deal with the regions around the continent. That is our first goal, to secure the seats first. As to which country will eventually represent the continent, that will be a subsequent debate. It's not a debate for now. If we get carried away with that, we shall lose focus. So the first thing is to secure and canvass as a united African Union to secure those opportunities first. And naturally, whether it is Kenya or any other African country that is then designated to represent the continent, should this materialize, I'm sure there'll be an understanding within the framework of the African Union on what should be the priorities of the continent. So we are secure on that line. The issue of Kiswahili, I just want to emphasize that in my remarks I did mention about having launched a program at the University of Nairobi that is dealing with Kenya-Russia relations. And the scope includes matters of learning languages both ways, understanding the culture and the heritage and traditions of both sides. So it is not a one-sided affair. And in other areas, we also encourage the establishment of cultural centers that showcase the heritage of individual countries. So we have every reason to look forward to the Russian Cultural Center established in Nairobi, so that it can also showcase and promote matters of culture, heritage of this nation. So it's open, it's not The issue of our relations with Ethiopia, they are solid. We share about 1,000 kilometers of boundary with Ethiopia. That is where we have the headquarters for the African Union. At the same time, we have diplomatic engagements directly as two countries. We do trade together on different commodities. And recently, the president of Kenya was invited as a guest to the the issue of ideology, I can only encourage the gentleman from MGIMO University that please don't walk in a straight jacket. We are happy to share with you, if you haven't got it yet, the agenda that the government of Kenya is promoting, which is really anchored on improving and transforming the lives of Kenyans. We have an elaborate explanation of a robust transformation program to create jobs and opportunities for young people, to improve our infrastructure, to broaden integration and connectivity with our sister countries and even internally, to grow the GDP of the country. And this is the primary objective, not what might be seen as political sloganeering. We need to be more pragmatic in making sure that governments actually change the lives of their citizens. Ideology will not put food on the table of the many Kenyans and other Africans who need a livelihood. So we need to shift our focus to a more economic and results-oriented development agenda, and that is what Kenya is pursuing. We have the better transformation agenda, and we can, on the side, give you a little more literature on that to help you as you undertake your studies. Yes, Kenya is capable of having conversations for free trade agreements. In Africa, we have economic regional blocks. We have EAC, we have COMESA, we have SADC, we have ECOWAS, and so forth. So these are also economic blocks which help in defining the trade engagements that we have with the other friendly countries. And in some instances, countries can, of course, have a free trade arrangement or conversation. We have, as Kenya, for instance, have had a conversation with the United Arab Emirates, and we have a trade partnership agreement with them. We have a conversation with the European Union. There's a EPA agreement. Right now, many countries are engaging with China under their proposed preferential trade arrangements with African countries. Before there used to be AGOA, which related to exports to the American market for African countries. Of course, now it's about to expire. There was a short renewal, but these are the arrangements that can be put together. So indeed, to have free trade agreements, it's not a bad idea, provided the national interests of the country and the partners are properly taken care of. Thank you.
We have time for 2 more questions.
Hello, Mr. Mudavadi. Thank you very much for your speech. My name is Vasilisa Panasenko, and I'm really fascinated by sport diplomacy. So I wanted to ask if Kenya is interested in deepening cooperation with Russia in the field of sports, and if yes, what sports have the greatest potential for cooperation in this field? Thank you.
Firstly, I would like to thank you for your inspiring speech. It is truly a great honor for us as future diplomats and international relations students to have the opportunity to meet with you here at MGIMO University. Thank you. And here is my question. Kenya is often called the Silicon Savannah, a hub of innovation and technology in Africa. Do you think Russia and Kenya could build a real tech partnership? And what would that look like in practice? Thank you.
Minister, well, we have time only for 2. I was said by your ambassador. Okay.
Honorable Minister, thank you for your speech. My name is Jessica Ilantseva, and I study international law. And as we know, at the 80th session of the United Nations Assembly, Kenyan President spoke about the crisis of the international law institutions. And my question is, how does Kenya see its role in strengthening its international, international justice? And what are the plans for expanding the African courts, regional mechanism? Thank you.
Ready to answer? Okay.
Thank you, Your Excellency. My name is Diana. I'm a student of Russian State University for the Humanities, and I would like to ask my questions. In which areas of Kenya's sustainable development agenda do you see the greatest potential for Russian engagement? Where could our Russian experience, technology, or resources be most relevant to Kenyan's national priorities? And how might the Russia-Africa Summit serve as a catalyst for deeper collaboration in science, education, and academic research? What concrete steps or maybe initiatives would you like to see in these fields moving forward? Thank you. Asante sana.
There's somebody behind you.
Good morning. My name is Nare Ines Lies. I am a Randi student. I'm doing the first year in Economic International Relations here at MGIMO. And my question is more investment oriented or into the economic sector. How open is foreign investment in Kenya, and what does it require to start a business in Kenya, either small scale or large scale business for a foreigner? Thank you.
Thank you for delivering your lecture, Your Excellency. You've passed a long way Thanks. You've passed a long way in politics and diplomacy. What would you recommend as your piece of advice for the students studying international relations, especially for those who are interested in Africa? Thank you.
Министр хочет, чтобы все, кто стоял, задали вопросы. Он дает нам какое-то время еще. Пожалуйста, кто еще не задал? Из стоящих. Все? Все вопросы? Все.
Thank you for this. On sports diplomacy, yes, we are interested in sports diplomacy. Kenya is known for long distance running, athletics. This is something that has helped perhaps in many instances to showcase Kenya, and it's one area we can develop. Russia is very strong in maybe swimming, maybe weightlifting, boxing, Winter Olympics. So these are areas that if we work together, we can grow the tourism and also grow our diplomatic engagements. And also in terms of the sports academies, that again can become an area where we can work very, very closely in promoting that. And eventually, sports must also be a source of livelihood for young men and women in all countries. So while looking at sports diplomacy, we would also be very happy to work on how we can make this arena a revenue generating arena for all who are interested in this area, because that again is something that we must take into account when we look at the demographic structure that we are facing today. The tech partnership, I can only say, yes, we are ready to work with Russia. They're very strong in ICT. There are a lot of innovations from here. In Kenya, we also pride ourselves with a young, vibrant, and innovative society. One of the most famous money transfer platforms called the M-Pesa, which was actually the pioneering money transfer platform, was born and bred in Kenya and one of our companies there. So there's a lot of opportunity to work together. We are seeing a lot of interest in AI, and these are all areas that there can be a lot of collaboration between Africa and Russia, and between Kenya and Russia. On matters of the international law and the institutions, I think that I'm not a lawyer, but when the president spoke to this, he was speaking more, that is President Ruto, he was speaking more on the need to respect the rule of law. And our multilateral institutions, our countries, will be as good as the citizens, and to what extent do they respect the rule of law in their individual countries and in the multilateral agencies. If you respect the rule of law in your country, you are likely to make a stronger multilateral institution, because you'll also respect the rule of law internationally. So this is a framework that we look at. In the African Union, why we were talking about the African courts, for instance, the issue was that if there are disputes on the African continent, why don't we have an African Court of Justice And the African Union is just about to implement that so that issues that pertain to African countries can be resolved on the African continent, rather than having a situation where the next thing you hear is an African is in the ICC or some other forum, and yet those issues could have been dealt with at the continent. So it is our desire that as we strengthen multilateral institutions, we should also do so within the context of the continent of Africa as well, and not just necessarily at the UN level. On areas of sustainability, I think I can flag one example. For instance, we want to drive to have clean energy, to have less of the challenges we have had with the traditional fossil fuels. And this is why I gave an example of one area that there can be strong collaboration between Africa and Russia, or Kenya and Russia in this context, is in the areas of, say, nuclear energy. This is one way of leapfrogging and being able to generate more energy for manufacture and for other uses in a more sustainable way for the continent. We want to be strong in making sure that aspects of climate change are networked or threaded into our policies so that as we go forward, we are not undermining the very existence of humanity by destroying issues that are critical to climate integrity for African countries. For my sister from Rwanda, I want to assure you that we are all members of the East African community. We work together, and we are free for investment. The doors are open. So nobody should worry about those opportunities. Just maybe what we need to guide you is in which sector do you want to invest in, and we'll give you the details of that sector. But we are open to investment both within the region and beyond. What can I say to from a personal perspective on Africa? I can tell you that Africa is the new frontier, 1.5 billion people. Young population. 70% of the population in Africa is below 35 years and below. A very vibrant community. So if you're looking at consumption, if you're looking at innovation, the demographics speak for you. And if you're looking for a market, what could be a bigger market than 1.5 billion people? That becomes a very big and potential market for a lot of things. So just focus on Africa and you will not go wrong. Thank you.
Dear friends, before my final thanks, I just want to say again that we have the honor and the privilege to welcome ambassadors of African countries attending our session. And I want to say that we have the pleasure to welcome the ambassador of Burundi, ambassador of Uganda, ambassador of Sierra Leone, Ambassador of South Sudan, and Ambassador of Gambia. I've known you for years. I'm very sorry. Ambassador of Senegal. So even more than I expected. Thank you very, very much, investors. You know that we have a standing invitation to come to our university and to speak before our students and to meet with the administration to discuss our collaboration and our future project. Dear friends, very good session in English and Swahili, and now I can afford a few words in Russian. Just to say how much we appreciate, Minister, your visit to our university. Я должен сказать, что мы очень признательны вам, господин министр, за то, что вы нашли время в своей программе побывать здесь. И видите, ваше пребывание в МГИМО вызвало такой большой интерес не только вот сотен студентов, присутствующих, преподавателей, присутствующих в зале, но и уважаемых послов, которые сочли нужным, интересным, возможным прийти к нам в университет и присутствовать на сегодняшней вашей встрече с МГИМовцами. Я хочу сказать, что ваше выступление и ваши ответы на вопросы носили очень такой субстантивный характер, были очень важны, интересны и глубоки по своему значению. И то, что вы так открыто ответили на многие вопросы, интересующие наших студентов, свидетельствует о том, что действительно у нас в отношении с Кенией существуют очень добрые, теплые и открытые отношения. Хочу пожелать вам больших успехов в вашей государственной деятельности, от всех от нас пожелать и всем нашим кенийским друзьям благополучия, здоровья, ну и выразить надежду, что вопросы, которые мы сегодня обсуждали с вами, и в ваших ответах вы еще раз подтвердили большую заинтересованность в развитии отношений между Кенийской дипакадемией, между кенийскими университетами, исследователями, преподавателями, исследователями, студентами нашего университета. Еще раз огромное вам спасибо, хорошего пребывания в Москве и хорошей поездки домой, безопасной поездки домой. Спасибо.
Thank you. There's some Kenyan students in here. Can you wave? Thank you.
Very, very good. Very good.